Good morning, students. Welcome to RPS Group of School online classes for science. Today, we will discuss Module 2, which is a part of the chapter Weather, Climate and Adaptations. In this module, we will learn about climate and adaptations in various climatic conditions. We will study about the polar regions, the various adaptations found in polar regions like in animals, polar bear, penguins, and lastly, we will discuss migration and study about migratory birds. There is a wide variety of flora and fauna found on the earth. We have already studied there is a wide variability of climatic conditions too, from region to region. The question that now arises is how the flora and fauna survive in such different climatic conditions. The answer is adaptation. What is adaptation? The ability of an organism to develop certain features which improve the chances of its survival in the environment in which they live. This is known as adaptation. We find that plants and animals develop certain features and habits that help them in living under that particular climatic conditions of their habitat. Animals are adapted to survive in the conditions in which they live. Basically, adaptations are of three types: structural adaptation, behavioral adaptation, and physiological adaptation. What is structural adaptation? Adaptation of special body parts of an organism that helps it to survive in its natural habitat. Example, its skin color, shape, body covering. Take an example of fish. Its body shape is streamlined, which helps it to move properly in the water. Behavioral adaptations. Here, adaptation of special ways in a particular organism that helps it to survive in its natural habitat. It usually occurs in response to some external stimuli. Example, frogs and bear undergoes hibernation or winter sleep during hard winter season. Physiological adaptations. Adaptation of body systems present in an organism that allows it to perform certain biochemical reaction. Example, the warm-blooded animals are able to keep their body temperature constant even if the conditions outside are fluctuating a lot. Animals that live in a very cold or hot climate must possess special features to protect themselves against extreme cold or extreme hot conditions. The features and habits that help an animal to adapt to their surrounding are a result of the process of evolution. According to their habitat, animals adapt themselves. These animals may be grouped as polar region or may be grouped as tropical rainforest animals. The adaptations are based on the climatic conditions. Here, we will study about the adaptations that are found in some animals in the polar regions. The polar regions, as the name suggests, are situated near the poles, that is, the North Pole and South Pole. The countries that belong to the polar regions are Canada, Greenland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Alaska in USA, and Siberian region of Russia. Polar regions show extremely colder climate which is covered with snow and remain cold for the most part of the year. In this region, the sun does not set for 6 months. That means it remains day for 6 months and is considered as summer, and does not rise for other 6 months. That means it is night throughout 6 months and is considered as winter season. The temperature may go down below -37 degrees Celsius to -40 degrees Celsius during winters in polar regions. The ground remains frozen most of the year and water becomes available only during the short summer when the snow melts. That means the availability of water in winter is 0 or nil. What type of flora and fauna are found in polar regions? Mosses and short-lived flowering plants grow in these regions. Animals living in these regions are adapted in different ways to cope with the conditions of the temperature, light, and moisture, and also according to the availability of food in that region. Polar bears and penguins are the most common animals that live in polar region. Besides these animals, the other animals that are found in polar regions are whales, seals, foxes, musk oxen, reindeer, Arctic fox, Arctic wolf, etc. Let's discuss about polar bear and penguins. What are the adaptations that are found in polar bear? In polar bear, the body is covered by a thick coat of white fur. This white fur helps them to blend with their surrounding snow white background and cannot be noticed by their predators. It also helps them catching their prey. So, their body color camouflages with their surroundings. They have 2 thick layers of fur. Beneath the fur is a thick coat of fat deposition called blubber, which insulates the body from cold and keeps it warm. In fact, they are so well insulated that they move slowly and take rest often to avoid getting overheated. A polar bear is a good swimmer, which has a wide and large paws that help it to swim. These paws also help bear to walk on the snow easily without sinking much in the soft snow. Even polar bears have a strong sense of smell so that they can locate their prey easily and can even locate their predators and save themselves. Polar bears possess small ears to keep the body surface area to the minimum and reduce the heat loss from the body. The smaller the surface area, the less the heat dissipates out from the body. The thick layer of fat beneath the skin also stores food which they use during winter when there is less availability of food. Polar bears undergo hibernation. During winter, polar bears go for a long sleep. That is called hibernation in their dens. During hibernation, they live on the stored body fat. The stored body fat also helps the mother polar bear to survive in the winter when they undergo hibernation beneath the snow with their newborn cubs. During summers, physical activities on warm days necessitate cooling, so polar bears are good swimmers. While swimming underwater, it can close its nostrils and can remain in water for long durations. Even they catch their prey or fish, which is a good source of food for them, which they found in the summers only. Its paws are white and large, which helps them to swim well and also walk with ease in the snow. Let's summarize the adaptations of polar bear in this diagrammatic representation. The white fur is not easily visible in the snowy white background, which can also be called as camouflaging. Their body color merges properly with their white snow or the surrounding, and it helps them to become a good predator, and prey are unable to see it. It has two thick layers of fur. These layers of fur help them to keep warm in cold weather. Polar bear have a layer of fat under its skin. This layer of fat, called as blubber, helps the body from cold and keeps it warm. It has long, curved, and sharp claws. Such paws and claws help polar bear in swimming, digging the snow, self-defense, walking on the snow, and holding the prey. It has a very strong sense of smell. It helps the bear to locate and catch its prey. Now let's discuss penguins and its adaptations in the polar regions. Penguins are flightless birds and another well-known animal living in the polar regions, which can survive due to the following adaptations in the adverse conditions of polar region. These are black and white in color, which merges well with the white background of ice and snow. They have thick skin and a thick layer of fat below their skin, which protects them from extreme cold. Penguins are good swimmers. They possess a streamlined body, flipper-like wings, and webbed feet, which make it a good swimmer. This adaptation helps penguin to catch fish as prey in the water. They live together in large numbers and huddle together to keep themselves warm. The body warmth of one and the other helps them to keep warm. Their thick feathers save them from biting cold and make their body surface waterproof. Another way to escape the adversity of the climatic conditions is migration. What is migration? Birds living in polar region cannot survive in extreme cold winter. To survive, they migrate to warmer region as soon as the winter sets in and return after the winter gets over. This temporary change of living place or habitat is called migration. So, we can define migration is a seasonal journey taken by different animals or birds to escape the extreme climatic condition and in the search of food. Some examples of migratory animals or birds are Siberian cranes, Arctic terns, etc. Siberian cranes migrates towards warmer region in the autumn by traveling several thousands of kilometers. They are seen in Bharatpur in Rajasthan and Sultanpur in Haryana and sometimes in wetland of northeast and other parts of India. Migratory birds sometimes travel as much as 15,000 kilometers to escape the extreme climatic conditions of their habitat. These birds fly high where the wind flow is helpful and cold conditions allow them to disperse the heat generated by their flight muscle. These birds have a built-in sense of direction and know in which direction they have to travel. Some birds use landmarks to guide them, and some birds are guided by the sun during the daytime and by the stars during the night. Even some birds can use the magnetic field of the earth to find the direction in which they want to migrate. Besides birds, some fishes, insects, and mammals also migrate seasonally in search of more hospitable climates. That's all for this module, students. We'll be back with another module of this chapter. Till then, take good care of yourself. Goodbye and thank you.